I didn't wake up that morning expecting my life to change. I was just hoping to make it through the day without crying in public again. It was cold, one of those biting gray mornings where even the air feels heavy with disappointment. I had $23 in my name and a torn grocery list I knew I couldn't fulfill. But I kept walking anyway, clutching my worn-out coat tighter, pretending I still believed in luck. Then I saw it. A wallet, just lying there on the sidewalk, like the world had forgotten it. At first, I hesitated. Part of me wanted to turn away. I've been invisible for so long, I figured no one would notice if I just kept walking. But something inside me stopped me. Maybe it was my mother's voice, soft, tired, but always honest. Do the right thing, even when no one's watching. I picked it up. It was heavy, expensive, filled with cards I didn't recognize, and more cash than I'd seen in years. I didn't know then that the man I was about to meet, the one who had lost this wallet, wasn't just rich. He was a billionaire, and he wasn't just any billionaire. He was connected to a part of my past I had spent years trying to forget. I thought I was just returning something that wasn't mine. I had no idea I was stepping into the most complicated, painful, and miraculous chapter of my life. Sometimes, the smallest decisions carry the loudest echoes. If this story touched your heart even just a little, don't forget to like, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real, emotional journeys like this one. Your support means the world to me. There's something about holding exactly $23 that makes you feel the weight of every single cent. It's not the kind of money that gives you options. It's the kind that reminds you what you don't have. A bag of rice, maybe. Half a tank of gas if I'm lucky. One more week of pretending everything's fine. I count the bills again inside my coat pocket, numbing fingers brushing each one like they're rosary beads, prayers that never quite reach heaven. The wind slices against me as I pass the same corner my father used to stand, shouting headlines with a crooked grin before he vanished like fog at sunrise. Nobody ever asked where he went. Disappearances don't make the news unless you matter. That's when I see it. A wallet, slouched on the edge of the sidewalk like it gave up. Black leather, aged just enough to say its owner has known comfort. It doesn't belong here, like a candle burning in the rain. I scan the street. No one sees me pick it up. That part is easy. My thumb runs over the smooth fold, feeling for secrets. My pulse spikes. There's weight in it. Bills, cards, possibilities. I close my eyes for 3 seconds, long enough to imagine what it would mean to keep it. Rent paid, heat turned on, food that isn't boxed and stale. Then I hear her. My mother, soft and sharp in the same breath. Don't lose yourself just because the world lost you first. She used to say it when the power would cut out, or when I cried over spilled milk. Not because of the mess, but because it was the last bottle. I hate how her voice still has power over me, even now. I flip the wallet open. The ID stares back at me, a face that's seen better days. The name doesn't ring any bells, but the address does. It's across town, the part where the mailboxes aren't dented and the lawns look trimmed on purpose. The kind of neighborhood where your biggest problem is the recycling truck being late. I shove the wallet deep into my coat and start walking. I tell myself it's the right thing to do, that good choices come back to you eventually, karma or something like it. But with every step toward that house, my boots feel heavier, like they know something I don't. The streets grow quieter. Trees line the sidewalk like guards. Windows glow with warmth I've never known. My fingers curl tighter around the wallet. I can feel the sweat on my palms, despite the cold. My heart thuds with a dull rhythm, like it's warning me. When I reach the front gate, I pause. The house is bigger than I expected. Curtains flutter. A porch light flickers, like it's blinking at me. I swallow hard. Something inside me whispers that this is no ordinary return. It feels like the kind of moment that splits a life in two, before the wallet and after. And somehow, I know, nothing will ever be the same again. The house is too quiet to be real. It doesn't just stand there, it watches. A mansion of glass and stone, clean lines and cold edges, like it's been plucked out of a world where nothing ever breaks. The kind of house designed not to be lived in, but to be envied. My fingers hesitate at the call button. I half expect it to shock me. A red light clicks on. The camera lens stares down like an unblinking eye. I press it. No answer. Maybe that's a sign. Maybe I'm not meant to be here. I turn, already stepping back when the speaker crackles, slicing the silence. Where did you find it? Not even a greeting. Not even a thank you. His voice is smooth, too smooth, like velvet stretched over a blade. The gate creaks open. I should leave. Every inch of my body begs me to. But I step forward anyway, like my feet are chained to something I don't understand yet. The driveway curves like a question mark, and at the end of it, he waits. He's younger than I expected, maybe mid-30s. Black slacks, navy sweater, not a wrinkle in sight. But his eyes? They don't match the rest of him. They've seen too much and buried even more. There's something behind them, flickering, unreadable. He doesn't offer a smile, doesn't reach for my hand, just watches. You look like someone I used to know, he says, slowly, like he's savoring the words. I feel a flicker in my spine, like a light bulb about to burn out. His gaze lingers too long, searching my face like it holds answers to questions I haven't asked. I came to return your wallet, I say, keeping my voice steady, even though my palms are damp. I hold it out like a peace offering. He takes it, glances inside, then nods. Barely. I turn, grateful to leave, ready to erase this whole encounter from memory. Wait, he says. I freeze. I want to repay you. I shake my head, still facing away. No need. He says it then, calm and certain, like it's the most natural thing in the world. You're Lily, aren't you? I don't move. I don't breathe. He says it like it's fact, not a question, like it's obvious. I turn slowly. What did you say? His expression doesn't change, but I see it now. Behind his eyes, something clicks into place. Recognition, or maybe projection, like he's seeing someone else through me. You're Lily, he repeats, more certain now. You've come back. My throat goes dry. My name isn't Lily. It never has been. But I don't tell him that, because for the first time in a long while, I feel something I haven't let myself feel. Fear. Not of him. Of why part of me suddenly wonders if he's right. My name falls from his lips, like it's been waiting on the edge of memory, clinging to the dust in forgotten corners. He says it again, softly, carefully, as if touching something fragile. Delia. It hits me like a cold slap. I haven't heard it in years, Not since my mother whispered it during her last lucid moment. These days, I barely say it aloud. I don't let people get close enough to ask. I've worn aliases like armor, changing them as easily as coats. And now this stranger in a house too clean to feel alive says it like he has the right. My voice is barely there. How do you know me? I already don't like the answer I feel coming. The way he watches me, like a ghost he wasn't sure would ever walk through his door again. He doesn't answer with words. Instead, he opens the door wider, a silent invitation. I hesitate. Every part of me screams to leave, but something deeper, hungrier, pulls me inside. The air shifts when I step in. It smells like old books and something else, grief that settled into the furniture. The living room is pristine, but it feels untouched, like no one actually lives here. Pictures hang on the walls with perfect alignment, but none of them show joy. Just people who've mastered how to pose like they care. He disappears into the next room, returns moments later holding an old photo like it weighs more than it should. He hands it to me. My fingers tremble before they touch it. My mother's eyes stare back at me. She's young, laughing in a way I never saw her laugh. Her arm is wrapped around a man I've never seen before, and standing beside them, barely older than me now, is him. "That's my father," he says. His voice lowers. "And yours." The laugh escapes me before I can stop it. But it's hollow. A cracked thing. Because this is absurd. Should be absurd. I shake my head, but I can't stop staring at the photo. My mother looks happy, whole. It doesn't match the woman who raised me on borrowed hope and stale cereal. "You're lying," I say. "I'm not." I look at him, really look, and see pieces of her in his face. A cruel resemblance, one that makes me want to scream. "Why didn't you look for us?" I ask. My voice sharpens like broken glass. "Why did you let us starve while you lived in this shrine?" He closes his eyes, breath hitching. "I didn't know. I swear." I don't believe him. Men like him never know until it's too late. Until the damage has shaped someone else's life like a scar that doesn't fade. He tries to explain. Paper trails lost, lies told by people who should have cared, but it all sounds too easy, too rehearsed. I clutch the photo, fingers curling around its edges. How do you forgive someone for a life you never got to live? I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure I want to. The walls of my apartment are thin, but the silence inside is thick. Since that night at the mansion, I haven't really slept. Not deeply. Not the kind of sleep that heals you. Just fragments. Broken images stitched together by nerves and dread. I boil water for tea I won't drink. It's a ritual. Something to do with my hands while my mind spirals. The photo won't leave me. The man in it, his jawline too familiar. The shadow of a smile that could have been mine. Or maybe I'm just desperate to make a connection. Desperate for a story that makes sense of the mess my life has always been. I haven't told anyone about the mansion, about the wallet, about him. It's mine to carry. And it's heavy. 7 days pass, each one slower than the last. On the 8th morning, there's a package by my door. No name, no return address. Just brown paper wrapped so tight it feels deliberate, like it's hiding something dangerous. I bring it inside. My fingers hover before unwrapping. There's a whisper in my chest that tells me, this will change everything. Inside is a small red wallet. I know it instantly. The scuffed corner, the faded gold clasp, the smell. God, the smell. My mother's perfume, still clinging to it like a ghost refusing to move on. It guts me. My knees hit the floor. I cry before I even open it. The kind of sobs that don't need permission. I'm back in our old kitchen. She's humming off key, pulling something from the oven. The sun is warm on her face. And then, just like that, the memory flickers and dies. There's a folded note inside. I unfold it slowly, careful not to tear the paper, as if the words might bleed if I'm too rough. I tried to protect you. I'm sorry he found you. That's it. Just one sentence. But it detonates inside me. I read it again and again. Who is he? The man from the mansion? My maybe father? Or someone worse? The walls of the apartment feel like they're closing in. I need answers, and I know where to look. The mansion. When I show up, the butler opens the door. His smile falters when he sees me. No invitation this time, just tension. Heavy, palpable. I need to speak to him, I say. He appears in the doorway moments later, dressed too perfectly, like he always has something to hide. But it's his eyes that betray him. There's fear now, raw and unfiltered. I hold up the red wallet. This belonged to my mother. His face drains of color. He steps back instinctively, like I've pointed a weapon at him. Maybe I have. I don't know anything about that, he says too quickly. But his voice shakes. His hands tremble. And behind the fear, something else flickers. Guilt. I don't trust him. But now I know. He's hiding more than just secrets. He's hiding history. My history. And I'm done waiting in the dark. The word dinner feels too generous for what this is. This is tension wrapped in linen napkins. This is a stranger with my blood sitting across from me, swirling wine and smiling like this reunion wasn't 20 years too late. I say no when he invites me to stay. I should leave. I should run. But then he says, please, and that one word, the way it falls, clumsy and weighted, sounds almost like an apology. So I stay. The dining room is too clean, the kind of clean that smells like lemons and wealth. I watch him pour the wine, his hands steady, practiced. There's something rehearsed in the way he talks, like he spent years imagining this conversation but forgot I might answer back. He tells me about my mother, not the woman who raised me through eviction notices and cold nights, but the girl she was before me. He paints her with light, rebellious, sharp, alive. He says she left without a word. I know better. She never had the luxury of goodbye. Not when goodbye meant walking away from someone who had the power to crush her with a signature. She didn't even tell me she was pregnant, he says, looking over his wine glass like it's a confession. I would have done something. He offers me money. I say no. He insists. The kind of insistence that carries guilt in its wallet. I still say no. He tells me I look like her when I'm angry. I don't know whether it's meant to soften me or remind him of something lost. Either way, it doesn't help. I feel like a museum piece he's just rediscovered. Something valuable only because it's rare and buried in the past. I ask him the question that's been waiting on my tongue since I walked through his door. Did you ever love her? He doesn't answer. just presses his lips together and studies the tablecloth like it might unravel the truth for him. Later, when he steps away to take a call, I wander through the house. My footsteps echo too loudly. This place doesn't feel like home. It feels like a secret someone built walls around. In a small study, behind glass-fronted bookshelves and neatly organized files, I find a drawer. Inside are letters. Dozens. Some yellowed at the edges, the ink slightly faded, all addressed to her. None ever sent. I don't open them. I don't need to. The dates scream enough. Letter after letter, written long after she left, some even after her obituary ran in the paper like a cruel joke. What kind of love writes letters to ghosts? And what kind of man keeps them all, sealed, untouched, as if afraid that opening them might let her go for good? I sit there in the quiet, surrounded by words meant for the woman who shaped me, the woman he let slip through the cracks of convenience. And I wonder, can love matter if it's buried beneath decades of silence and the kind of wealth that buys everything but redemption? It starts with footsteps. Not the creak of old wood or the sigh of a house settling. No, these are deliberate, soft, careful, like someone trying not to be heard. I sit up in bed, breath shallow, heart caught between beats. My room, dimly lit by the spill of moonlight through tall windows, feels suddenly foreign, like I've woken up somewhere I don't belong. I slip out from under the covers, every floorboard underfoot threatening to betray me. The hallway stretches long and quiet, shadows yawning like mouths along the walls. And then I see her. She's standing in the kitchen, pale under the humming refrigerator light. Not startled, not surprised, like she's been waiting. She's older than me, maybe early 40s. Hair pulled into a sleek knot, hands clasped like a porcelain doll. But it's the necklace that makes my breath catch. A silver locket, small and delicate. It's my mother's. I remember her wearing it when I was a child, turning it between her fingers when she was nervous. I haven't seen it in years, not since the funeral. "Where did you get that?" I ask, my voice low, already knowing I won't like the answer. She smiles. It doesn't reach her eyes. "He gave it to me," she says. "Said it belonged to someone important. I didn't know it was yours." Her words are smooth, but there's an edge, like glass beneath velvet. I ask her who she is. "I'm his assistant," she says, calmly. "I manage things he forgets." She knows my name, knows where I grew up, what I studied, my father's nickname for me, things I haven't told him, things I barely remember telling anyone. She leans in then and whispers like we're conspirators in some old, rotting fairy tale. "You don't belong here. He ruins everything he touches." I don't sleep the rest of the night. In the morning, I confront him. His smile is tired, like he's already rehearsed this. "She's family," he says. "Sort of. Complicated." He waves it off like an errand he forgot to run. "She's leaving anyway." But the way he avoids my eyes makes my skin crawl. By noon, she's gone. No note, no explanation. Her room, empty. As if she was never here. He tells me she quit, that she was unstable, overdramatic. I don't believe him. Something about this house feels tighter now. Like the walls have moved closer in the night. The windows stare like eyes. The mirrors reflect things I don't remember doing. I don't know what's real anymore. But I do know one thing. Someone's lying. Maybe both of them. And suddenly, I feel like a page torn from a book I was never supposed to read. Not a guest, not even a character, just a mistake. And mistakes don't usually survive the end of the story. The whispering begins just after midnight. It's faint, barely a breath against the wall, but it slices through the silence like a blade. I sit up in the narrow bed, heart thudding, listening. At first, I think it's the wind or a dream I haven't fully shaken, but the sound is real, intimate, insistent. My feet hit the cold floor. I move toward the noise, each step careful, deliberate, like I might wake something deeper than sleep. My fingers trail along the wallpapered wall at the end of the hallway, the one no one ever walks toward. The sound stops when I touch the corner. My pulse stutters. There's a seam here, subtle, like a scar hidden beneath layers of skin. I press, and something clicks, a quiet surrender. A door, cleverly disguised, eases open into shadow. The air is different inside, thicker, older. Dust hangs like mist, disturbed only by my breath. I fumble for a light switch, but my hand finds a chain instead. It pulls a bare bulb to life, casting a golden hush over the forgotten room. I wasn't ready for what I'd find. Newspaper clippings line one wall. Every article is about a woman. My mother. Her name in bold, her smile frozen in black and white. Stories of her disappearance. Headlines I never knew existed, each one circled in red. There's a baby's hospital bracelet pinned beside them. The name is smudged, but the date matches mine. And there, resting atop a stack of old documents like it's waiting for me, is a will, with my name inked in trembling script. It hits me like a punch to the ribs. I don't remember walking back to his study. I only remember the look in his eyes when I hold the will in front of him, like he's aged a decade in a second. He doesn't deny it. He confesses everything, his voice fragile and full of ghosts. He knew about me, found out too late. By the time he tracked my mother down, she was already gone. A name in an obituary. A memory buried beneath too many lies. He says he tried to claim me, that the courts turned him away, that her family hated him enough to erase me from his life. He says he built all of this for me. The company, the house, the legacy. Every corner of this empire was meant for a daughter he never got to hold. I want to scream. Instead, I just stare at him. This man I thought I knew, now unraveling in front of me like a worn-out suit of armor. My fists clench, but my voice breaks. You should have tried harder. I leave. Outside, the air feels too clean, too quiet. The world hasn't changed, but I have. My chest aches with confusion, with longing, with something I can't name. I walk until the house disappears behind me. I don't want money. I don't want secrets. I want the truth. I want her. The cemetery is quieter than I remember. Not the silence of peace, but the kind that hovers like a held breath, waiting to break. The trees are skeletal now, stripped by the cold, and the sky stretches dull and gray above me like an old bruise. I didn't bring flowers. It felt dishonest. She never cared for them anyway. Said they were too fleeting, too showy for a life built on making do with less. Instead, I brought the letters, his words, every one of them. I kneel in front of her grave, fingers brushing the edge of the stone as if it might warm beneath my touch. Delia May Holloway. Loving mother, beloved friend, dates carved like bookends to a life that felt too short. The letters tremble in my hands. I've read them all now, every page he left behind for me to find, hidden like shame beneath floorboards and in the back of drawers. His pain bleeds through the ink, the guilt, the way he loved her but left anyway. I should hate him. I think I did. Maybe I still do, in small, stubborn pieces. But grief does strange things to the heart. So does time. I sit beside her headstone, the ground hard beneath me, and the letters scatter across my lap like fallen leaves. I read aloud, barely a whisper. Not for her, for me. I never stopped loving you. I just didn't know how to stay. My throat tightens. I thought if I left, I could save us both. But I only saved the part of me that could forget. I close my eyes. His voice echoes in my head now too. Not like hers, soft and instructive, but raw, jagged. He wrote like someone trying to patch a hole that could never be sewn closed. Tears slip down before I can stop them. They come in waves, sharp, surprising, not just for what I lost, but for what I never got to know. I cry like I did when I was 5, curled in her lap under a thin blanket, listening to fairy tales because we had no heat. And she needed me to believe in magic more than she believed in food. I hear her again, her voice, that thread I've carried through every dark room in my life. Don't carry hate. It's heavier than love. She said it once when I came home crying from school, fists clenched over words I didn't know how to fight. I didn't understand her then. Maybe I still don't. But I want to. The letters crumple in my lap, damp with tears and wind. I press my forehead to the stone and breathe in cold earth and memory. I don't know how to forgive him, but I want to try. And maybe that's what she meant. Maybe that's where grief sleeps, curled up in the space between wanting to forget and learning to remember without the rage. The phone call comes in the middle of the night, the kind where the silence before it rings feels like the prelude to something inevitable. I almost don't answer. My mind is still tangled in the half-dreams of what I've learned, what I've lost, and what I might never have. But I do. I lift the receiver, and the voice on the other end is cool, detached. A lawyer's voice, no room for emotion. He's dying, the lawyer says, as if it's a formality. Cancer, it's progressed too far. I feel something slip away from me, like the last piece of furniture in an empty room. All that's left is a shell of what could have been. A cold, dead truth. There's more. An inheritance clause, a stipulation. If I choose to accept him as my father, everything he has is mine. The house, the money, the legacy. I could take it. I could have it all. But what does accepting even mean? To say I forgive? To say I want what he's offering, even though everything in me screams that this man is not my father, never was? The question eats at me like acid, burning holes in whatever decisions I thought I could make. I hang up the phone and sit in the darkness. My fingers are numb. I could go on, pretending I never knew. I could walk away, let the lawyers deal with it, but something pulls me back. Something tethered to the past, something deeper than pride. I don't know if it's curiosity or some sick sense of duty. I go back to him. The room smells sterile. His body is a shell now, thinner than I remember, his skin drawn tight over the bones. The man who once towered over me now lies in bed, a shadow of himself. His face is pale, but his eyes, those eyes, they're clearer than I've ever seen them. Sharp, piercing. "Come closer," he rasps, voice trembling with the weight of words unsaid for years. I sit by his side, unsure of what I'm supposed to feel. Anger? Sadness? Instead, there's just emptiness. I listen to him speak, each word like a confession slipping from his lips, his chest rising with the effort. "I never stopped loving your mother," he says, his eyes closing briefly, as if the admission is enough to drain him. "Building wealth. None of it filled the hole she left. Not even close." There's a crack in his voice, a fragility that wasn't there before. The man who abandoned us is gone. In his place is someone who knows exactly what he's lost. A man who regrets things that can't be undone. I want to feel something for him. I want to be angry, or maybe just devastated. But I'm not. I don't know what I feel. The space between us feels too wide to cross with anger, too deep to fill with pity. Instead, I take his hand. It's cold, shaking. I hold it, and for a moment, I feel nothing but the pulse of life still moving between us. He falls asleep, his breath slow and steady, and I sit there, caught in the silence. I don't know what I feel, but it's not hate. He dies quietly, with my mother's photo in his hand. It's almost peaceful, the way the room goes still, as though the world has decided to give him a moment of grace after everything. But there's no comfort in it for me. Just a finality, a closing door on a chapter I never wanted to write. The kind of ending that you can't rewrite, no matter how hard you try. When the lawyer hands me the inheritance papers, it feels like a formality. A piece of paper that says I now own things I don't know how to keep, things that are not mine, no matter how many signatures are on them. The house, the accounts, the car, money that belonged to someone else, a name that never really belonged to me either. But I give most of it away, to people who need it more than I do. To the girls like me, lost, overlooked, invisible, until someone noticed them. It feels like the right thing to do, as if I'm redeeming every decision I made along the way. Maybe it's foolish. Maybe I'll regret it later. But for now, it feels like the only thing I can do with what was handed to me. I keep the house, not because it's beautiful, not because it's a grand place to live, or because it holds memories that I'll cherish. I keep it because I want to rewrite what it means. It's no longer the place where I felt small, where I was invisible. It's not the house that my father died in, with secrets and shadows echoing in every corner. I want it to be something else. I want it to be a place where people find each other, where stories are shared, where no one feels like they don't matter. I hang a new photograph on the wall, the one with all of us. It's faded now, the edges curling, but I still look at it sometimes. My mother, my father, me, a different version of who I was before everything broke apart. It's a picture of us, but not the version of us that we were. The one that's gone, the one that could have been. I open the doors. I invite others in. Girls like me, like I was once, who feel small, who feel forgotten. I tell them it's okay to be lost, that it's okay to feel like you're standing at the edge of something you don't know how to face. They sit in the living room, they talk, they cry, some laugh. And for the first time in my life, I don't feel alone in this house. I tell them, this isn't a story about money. It's a story about being seen. And as I say it, I feel it, like the weight of all those lost years, those invisible days, is finally lifting. Like I've finally figured out what it means to be more than just someone walking through life. Maybe this is the kind of inheritance I should have always had. A chance to rewrite my name, my story. A chance to finally matter. If this story left a mark on your heart, please take a moment to like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. Every story we tell brings someone out of the dark. Let's keep the light on together.